Previously in X-Men, the spirit, oh my gosh, the spirit of an evil wizard was unknowingly unleashed from an enchanted necklace. And it's too bad Wolverine isn't around to destroy that Horcrux. And there's nothing we can add that will make this issue transition in smoothly. I am Jason Lapidus.
I'm Chris Sanagan.
And we are Group of Seven Comics. Welcome to episode 110 of our ongoing Tuesday night live stream read-through of the X-Men comics that became classic as we read Uncanny X-Men 190 by writer Chris Claremont, penciler John Romita Jr., and inker Dan Green. Cover date of February 1985. Chris, how are you, sir?
I'm good, thanks. Doing really well. Wish I could say the same for this issue, but, hey, we're going to get into that.
Yeah, you love being me. Just when we were setting up, I was asking you how you are, and you said something to me, and I thought you said you love being me, and I was like, that is
in my best Matthew McConaughey.
That's such a funny thing for you to say because you're a pretty grounded guy, but I was like, oh no, that's a good catchphrase for you. Like when someone goes your way, I love being me. But anyway, this was I'm glad you're well. We had a rainy day here in Southern Ontario.
Sure did.
And I don't think your dogs were happy. I know my dog didn't enjoy it.
No, did you get hail too? We got some hail out our way.
No, sir. We just got a little bit of thunder and lightning.
Oh, we got some hail.
Yeah,
which is always an interesting weather phenomenon.
Well, perhaps the weather phenomenon were symptomatic of some troubles that were going on around New York City and some wizard.
A wizard.
Like when I found myself writing just the idea that there was a necklace with the spirit of an evil wizard in it.
Yeah.
And it like unleashes. I was like, this is totally J.K. Rowling. She read this. That's where the whole Harry Potter thing comes from. Mm-hmm. All that Horcrux stuff is right out of X-Men.
Absolutely.
So I think we found that one of her biggest inspirations must be Chris Claremont.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
Cal, whatever the wizard's name is.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
We are going to get into it in just a moment, of course.
Sure.
I don't know if you got to look at the cover of this issue.
I did.
I'm like, dude, what a John Romita Jr. I wonder what notes you got from editorial, like the direction to do this. I'm okay with, of course, the wizard dude.
Sure.
But is really the best part of this issue that one bald mutant mixed with another bald mutant turning into like disgusting wax? I don't know what. It's such an unpleasant image.
It is.
Here, let me pull it up.
It is.
Easier way.
And remember, I don't know really. I never read ahead, and so
right
today, when I clicked on the DVD-ROM that has all these issues, which is what we are showing right now on the screen, the scanned PDFs of the original comics. This came up, and I'm like, threw up in my mouth.
Yeah, it's an unpleasant one.
It is. It's really not. I agree. The wizard, sure, get behind. But this weird, and I knew right away it's Caliban. I knew right away it was Xavier.
Right.
But
the skin texture of Caliban has been really well communicated by all of the artists, working on X-Men since I guess it's mostly been Dan Green and John Romita Jr. doing the texture of Caliban's skin since he was sort of revealed after that weird, was it a Dave Cockrum issue back when he wanted to marry Kitty Pryde?
Yes.
And since then we had some Paul Smith working with him, and then and now, John Romita Jr. But this is like, it's really distinctively him, and these lines, yeah. It's as David Cutler commented on Instagram. He's like, only X-Men could have a cover like this and not even dip in sales. Like they just keep, it's such a strong title that it would just keep going. And I think he has a really good point. Like the inertia of all their successful issues allows an issue like this to reach the newsstand and for kids to still pick it up just on the strength of the title alone, because this cover does not do any job selling. And then you look at who the guest stars are.
Yeah.
And it's Spider-Man and the Avengers. Where are the X-Men and the Spider-Man and the Avengers? Because that will sell some books.
And check the corner box. Half
What?
X-Men, half New Mutants.
Oh yeah, that's kind of fun, right?
Giving you a little bit of a preview of the story, but still, just lots of different things happening with this cover.
Yeah, I like that idea that you can put in other characters that aren't in the title in the corner box, and it still works. It's kind of a fun idea. It'd be hilarious if like Spidey was in there too, But these are just exclusively for Xavier students,
Right.
And two different artists, right? We've got the Paul Smith heads, and then some Bill Sienkiewicz heads.
So strange.
It is weird. So I don't know if you ever saw the X-Men Classics version of this cover. Did you get a chance to see that?
I think you had sent it, but I don't think I actually really.
It is part of the thumbnail for this episode, and I'm not going to pull it up now because it'll slow things down. I'm having some issues with screen sharing at the moment, but it is done by an artist named Tom Rainey.
Okay.
And he just does the exact thing that you think is going to help sell the issue. It's the Wizard in the same position. He might have even cribbed the Wizard's left hand for the most part and made some adjustments to it. But the Wizard is in the same position. And then it's, Colossus and Captain America, like all up front. Like, so, okay, there you go.
It's not this.
It is 100% not this. I find it's a very strange commercial choice. There is a mentality when it comes to comics that the inside is where you express all your ideas, and that's like the artistic expression is the inside of the book. The cover is sales. Your job is to sell the book, right? So, it is such a strange choice if you're thinking about sales, because Burt Marshmallow.
He lost a bet.
Maybe. Yeah, I wonder. And at that point in time, it's 1985. He's been drawing comics for a number of years, maybe 5 years or more. And his dad is the art director. There's all sorts of editorial in the office that can give you some suggestions to make some good work. And this one just got through for whatever reason. And it's not a good looking piece. But anyway, let's say hello to Jason Jose. How are you? And Gary Shipman. Hi, Gary. Hope you both are doing well. And I wonder, is this one of your favorite issues? Is the storyline that we're about to venture into meaningful for you in any way? It is a new one for me. I had never read these. I've never read this 2 or 3 issue arc, whatever it's going to be. I haven't dipped into it before. This is sort of my first time trying to get through it. So we'll see how it goes. But I did find, in all honesty, this issue to be a slog to get through.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, Marvel meets D&D. Yeah. There's some fun fantasy elements into it. I like that idea, but I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of the execution. So we'll see. Jason says it's a 2-parter. Thank you, Jason. It feels like it's at least a 3-parter, and we're missing the first part. And you'll see what I mean. The last issue ended, and it was this guy named Jaime who discovered this necklace while he was doing dock work and stuff, like gutting fish or
Yeah.
And then he brings the necklace back to his locker, and the next issue he goes to get it, and there's a guy, he's on his way home and he gets mugged, and then the mugger unleashes. Yeah, he gets moited, and the evil wizard is unleashed from the necklace in a New York subway.
That's right.
And so the issue ends with the subway station in flame. Nothing else is going on about that storyline. Just a subway is in flames, a dude is dead, and a wizard is out. And that's where it ended. And I'm not sure if that is enough of a transition. So we shall see. David Cutler says, "Hey, X-Boys." Or Exy Boys? Exy? Is he calling us Exy? I mean, there you go. Jason says the main villain is from Conan Comics. I'm going to see if the issue tells me that. Like, I like to see what the issue provides. If I don't have backstory, outside of the Claremont run, I wonder also like if the issue stands on its own in that respect. So I'm looking forward to finding out if that's talked about. David says, I think this story really went over in its day, but it's a very big story that's given no room to breathe. Comes across like Claremont just wanted to take a break from X-Men and do something else without losing a spot on X-Men. Yeah, or maybe there was some kind of mandate, or maybe there was going to be an issue crossover from they were going to try something, and it just didn't happen. Like the Avengers were going to get an issue, Spidey was going to get an issue, and they couldn't pull it together, so they just crammed the whole thing in. We'll see how it reads, upon this. We'll go.
I did one of my main takeaways, and we'll see it in the book, but because of this, X-Men meets D&D kind of vibe, there's different character designs for characters, and so all I could think of was like, where's the Marvel Legends line of that one? Where's the Legends line of that one? Like some real deep cuts.
Sure, and maybe that's a good point, is that when there are other issues and there are action figures, sometimes a character just gets a new costume for a very short period of time and it becomes a beloved variation. And I put an idea out into the world last week, I think, about not maybe John Romita's character designs are not so strong at this point. And maybe we'll see more of that. Yeah, David says
the world came back with this comic.
Right. David says, and yeah, I'm trying to get you guys to stick to the stay Exy sign off. Fair enough. We'll see if that works. David continues, the team getting magical fantasy costumes out of nowhere becomes a big time Claremont trope. Well, let's see that happen as we read through issues over the next couple of years. And sometimes it's a really fun thing that I've seen before too. So I'm looking forward to it. We'll see a little bit of that in the X-Men Alpha Flight 2-parter. So let's continue on.
Okay.
Hey guys. Hey Mass, how are you? There you go. Mass did an awesome X-Men, adjectiveless X-Men cover recreation this week.
Oh yeah.
Or I guess it was last week, pardon me, that he was sharing with, showing me on social media. It was very cool. Looked like a lot of mileage on your pen there, buddy. So yeah, not easy work. All right, Chris, let's dive into this.
Shall we dive into this? Okay, here we go. All right. 190.
Do you want to break up which characters? Like, is there any? Do you want to be the evil wizard?
Sure, I can be.
You have a good evil wizard voice going in your mind?
Sure, I think I might have one.
All right. Historically, I think, have I been Val Cooper?
I think so.
And then we got a room full of dudes coming out.
Got a room
should be
full
fun.
of dudes. Maybe you can actually go back and forth.
Yeah. Like same as usual. Okay, here we go. To many, this is the greatest city in the world. New York, New York. The Big Apple. It is a place unlike any other. And so far, this is all pretty normal, except for the military or whatever that is outside of
the harbor.
Like Yankee Stadium. And never more so than today. And this is not an easy double splash. I had a tough time actually reading it at first. I was trying to figure out if like part of the island was I couldn't tell what level of water was higher than another. Like I thought that
raised or sunk.
Well, that sort of okay. That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
So the image gives me confusion.
Right.
The text clarifies. Do you know the answer, by the way?
I mean, reading further, they talk of a wall of like
right. So it's neither
a force field almost?
Yeah, it's neither raised nor sunk. That there is a wall around it, but because the water is colored differently, and the wall creates like these lines that make you, it creates different like planes. It feels like the city at times has been raised out of the ocean or is sunk into the ocean, and I'm not quite sure. But I do like the city part.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. It's got that mystical, magical vibe to it.
It doesn't feel to scale, but we'll go with it. It's all good fun.
Yeah.
There you go. Stan Lee presents An Age Undreamt Of, starring the Uncanny X-Men. Writer Chris Claremont, John Romita Jr. and Dan Green are artists, and Glynis Wein Tom Orzechowski, usual too, and Nocenti as editor, and Jim Shooter as chief. It doesn't say editor-in-chief, it just says chief.
Okay.
That's cool.
That's cool.
200 miles to the south, a city somewhat smaller but equally well known. In a house whose occupant holds the fate of the planet in his hands, I'm Valerie Cooper, Special Assistant to the President's National Security Advisor. I'll be chairing this morning's meeting. The energy curtain appeared just after midnight in the City Hall neighborhood of Lower Manhattan. Within an hour, it had spread to encompass the entire island, establishing and holding its current position. Our military reconnaissance satellites have determined that everything within the curtain, animate and inanimate, has been regressed to this barbarian state, translated into its equivalent historical analog. Because, everything has a equivalent historical analog.
Analog, yeah, jeez.
Police became civic guards, guns, swords, cars, horses, and chariots. So how do you think horses of today feel about not being...
Yeah, good point, eh?
I mean, what
Bird
are horses
on
of
horses,
old?
yeah.
Horses are dogs. Dogs are cats. I don't know. Anyway. And this is like a big, huge info dump.
Ugh, so much dumped.
As that final example indicates, we're talking about fundamental, scientifically impossible reorganizations in the state of matter and reality. The barrier is permeable. Troops easily penetrated it. But the moment they did, they were transformed. We haven't heard from them since. Mostly because their communication devices were transformed into their analog.
Right.
Carrier pigeons. Evidently, they've lost all memory of their true identities and the world they came from.
What they don't tell you is that's those two dudes are from G.I. Joe.
Right.
They went in there and they didn't come out.
No, they did not come out.
They did not come out.
No, there's a really interesting, subtle switch in lettering here. It goes from sort of the regular Orzechowski rhythms to maybe it was a redo or needed to be spread out differently to fill some space or something. I don't know. None of those affected voluntarily wish or attempt to leave the island, but some have inadvertently crossed back through the barrier. Since that happens mostly on rivers, we've ordered our naval units to keep constant watch for anyone in the water. That's a setup for later in the plot.
Yeah, nice.
Evidently, those people remember their experience, though some don't quite believe it. Our interrogation of them has given us a fair idea of what's happening in Manhattan. I actually really love this room of dudes listening to her, like the different body language and faces. It's a fun one.
I feel like the one out front there in the glasses towards the right must be somebody. It feels too pronounced almost. I don't know.
Too specific.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
Ooh, 2 tickets to the gun show.
The city is ruled by a wizard named Kulan Gath. Within his barrier, a different set of natural laws apply. Magic, sorcery, works. As this satellite surveillance photo reveals, he is not a benevolent monarch. His laws are enforced by a cadre of super beings called Morlocks. The slightest infraction of them is punishable by summary execution. Kulan Gath also practices human sacrifice. On a monstrous scale, his victims are exclusively children. So this is a bad dude, is what she's saying. Yeah. Repeated attempts to contact Avengers Mansion, the Baxter Building, headquarters of the Fantastic Four, and S.H.I.E.L.D.'s New York field office have failed. We have, however, managed to cite a number of super beings, which, along with the eyewitness accounts of escapees, have confirmed that those heroes, too, have been transformed. crazy lettering here too. It's like teeny tiny stuff.
Totally.
Captain America, Wasp, Star Fox, Vision, Scarlet Witch, Colossus, Nightcrawler, Storm, Rogue. What is Nightcrawler doing? Is he cold, do you think? Is that what that is?
He's hiding.
By the way, do you know Star Fox?
I mean, I'm aware of Star Fox.
Okay.
From his character, isn't he a Titan as well? Doesn't he come from is he like Thanos' brother-in-law or something?
Or like half-brother.
Half-brother.
Yeah, he's in there. Yeah.
And of course, big Harry Styles fan over here. So
you are.
Shows up in the Eternals, right? At the end of the Eternals in the extra credits.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, man, last Styles album was great. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tough one.
Yeah.
Star Fox. He's everyone's favorite character.
Also, great N64 game.
These are who we've managed to identify so far. For some reason, Spider-Man seems unaffected. We've no idea why. This spell doesn't alter personal relationships or memories. Friends remain friends. Families, families. The Avengers, a band of warrior heroes. Dogs are dogs.
Dogs are dogs. Cats are cats.
Cars are also horses.
Cars are also cats.
It's just their external reality that is different. Their powers and lives are now defined in terms of the age they're living in. They believe the whole world is just like Manhattan. And if we can't find a way to reverse this enchantment, or at least hold it in check, they may well be right.
Dr. Cooper, you have mutants. That outlaw group, the X-Men, lined up there along with the Avengers as heroes. What's the idea? Why, one of their members, that girl Rogue, is a known criminal. Filthy mutant vermin. This whole mess is probably their fault. They ought to be stamped out once and for all.
What do you suggest, Jack? That we herd them into concentration camps, test everybody in the country, maybe the entire world, and dispose of whomever doesn't measure up?
That threat exists, General. Ignoring it won't make it go away. Humanity is in a fight for its very survival.
Most of you are too young to live through World War II, or what the Nazis did. It's called the Holocaust for a good reason. I was 20 when we liberated Buchenwald, and I'll carry that memory of that awful day with me till I die. Last night, I saw some pipsqueak racist TV commentator talking in terms that would have made Adolf Hitler proud, telling his audience to be on the lookout for muties, and if any were found among friends, family, or even your own children, to get rid of them. Is that what we want for ourselves and our posterity? Is that what our country's coming to? Gentlemen, this isn't helping. The paramount threat we face is on that screen. Because the United Nations is in New York, every country on the globe is involved. They're looking to us, my friends. Right now, the fate of the world may well depend on those mutant vermin who have no reason to help and every reason to wish us harm. Perhaps, if they give us a second chance, we can change that. I pray so with all my heart. It's heavy.
Yeah.
She wakes achy and out of sorts. From a fitful sleep shot through with strange and terrible dreams, she senses a fundamental wrongness she does not understand and cannot explain. Chris, by the way, you are my fundamental wrongness.
Wow, that's deep.
Thanks, man. But it is within her, or the world around her. All seems as it should be, has ever been, yet it does not.
Aurora.
Who dares?
Thunder of the Vizier's Guard. I am Callisto, captain of that guard. I have a warrant, my lady Aurora, for your arrest.
On what charge? I've done nothing.
Your existence displeases my master, Kulan Gath. That is sufficient. Considering your reputation, I expected more resistance. I'm disappointed. Is the iron hot, Sunder? It'll do, Cal. Splendid. This slave call is for you, Wind Rider. To brand you for all time. Close it round her neck, Sunder, before the metal cools.
No! The braziers set the deck alight. Most of the crew and the guard should be too busy with that fire to worry about me. I'll move more easily without these silk panels entangling my legs. Surprise, surprise. But where to go? The flames are between me and the wharf, and Callisto is sure to have more warriors ashore. Whoops! He cut through the halyards. The weight of the boom is pulling them upwards. I shall ride one to the masthead and pray the captain brought no archers.
The rest of you stay out of this. The witch is mine. My master would have preferred you alive, Aurora. But I think he'll shed no tears when I present him with your corpse instead.
Claremont just can't resist filling up every panel with an explanation, as opposed to letting the guys maybe do a better job showing the weight shift. Right. That's a fun cartooning thing to have a weight drop and a character go up. Mm-hmm. But maybe they're not up for the task.
The weight is dropping, the character's going up.
Yeah,
as it's written. Yeah. This is a moment I've long awaited, Wind Rider. You'll not escape me now.
I have no weapon.
That makes the odds even. After all, though we're both mutants, I'm but a warrior. You, they say, are a goddess.
Look at those underwear. For the briefest of moments, as pain flashes ice fire across Aurora's belly, her world turns topsy-turvy. Suddenly, she's certain of who and what she is. And that person has nothing to do with this time. Before she's even fully aware of the realization, however, it is overwhelmed by another, more immediate one. The mast is burning! In one smooth movement, she sweeps herself and Callisto off the boom.
Fool! You'll kill us both!
Perhaps, she says calmly. And then here's another thing, cartooning thing. Sure. You've got a character, I love the idea of these vertical panels. Mm-hmm. You've got a character going from a great height to a depth. And yet the one that's high up is drawn lower on the page than the one that is under the water. If you just reverse these two in terms of their height, you know what I mean? Sure. The panels are staggered the opposite way that they would be to communicate the thing of the character going down. This is a really weird choice.
Yeah,
so as you read,
you get the impression of fall then, much more of the fall.
Sure, because your eye does work as it crosses through the gutter.
Yeah.
And in this case, your eye goes up from the gutter. You go from Storm and Callisto down low up to them higher. And it should be the exact opposite. It's a weird choice, but anyway, I'm harping. I made sure Callisto bore the brunt of the impact. She is stunned, but I doubt she'll remain so long. So much explanation.
So much.
A chokehold should steal breath and senses.
A chokehold shall put her out permanently.
Yep. It would be so simple a matter to finish the job and let her drown. Why do I hesitate? She would do the same for me. No, whatever I have become, I will remain true to the woman I was. The current, too strong to resist, sweeping us toward mid-river. Good. I wish to be as far from the wizard and his guards as... Blessed goddess! I myself again. But I was no less so before. A monstrous lie. Yet the truth. What manner of being could do such a thing? And why? Callisto spoke of a sorcerer named Kulan Gath. Is this his doing? And what of the X-Men who were in Manhattan last night? Were they cursed as well? What has happened to them?
You see, my dear Doctor Strange, how easy it is, how mutable human flesh can become. Among your people, Charles Xavier is a formidable wizard, whose mental powers far outstrip my own. But my master's spell caught him by surprise, as it did you. Before either of you knew what was happening, it remade your metropolis into a realm where my power and will reign supreme. Only those with mystic powers are a threat to me, and of them, you alone make possessed the insight and ability to resist the master's spell and the strength to give me pause. Everyone else, save the accursed man-spider, has been transformed by my enchantment. They are already under my influence, so that no matter how valiantly they struggle, the final victory will ever be mine. He alone was spared. He alone is free to know the truth. Yet that knowledge will not save him. It will only make him suffer all the more. By the time you became aware of the danger, you were my prisoner and quite helpless. The other lesser wizards, along with those who possess fantastical physical powers such as the mutant X-Men and the Avengers, will be offered a choice. Serve me or die. In fact, thanks to my new creation, Xavier Caliban, my latest recruits have already arrived with their aid, plus that of the mutant beings called Morlocks, who are already enslaved. I shall have my revenge against a dearly hated foe, the accursed hero Man-Spider.
Holy smokes.
Okay, yeah, let's break that down.
Or maybe not. Like, maybe it doesn't even matter. This is one of the worst pages of comics I've ever seen. I'm not talking about drawing, but
You're talking about
I don't know what happens. I don't know what I'm supposed to care about. I definitely don't want to read all that crap. Like, I want to look at cool pictures and understand, and then have the words complement and like work together with all that.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just like some bonkers nonsense. I mean, we don't even get a transition from Storm in the water to Professor Xavier transforming into
Another
Xavier
wizard.
Caliban.
Yeah.
Like, how did Doctor Strange? I don't even know.
How did he? Right. So he's now trapped, Doctor Strange,
Whatever.
or something. and Caliban Xavier has no neck. It's just two heads.
Like, what was there a page in a Doctor Strange comic talking about this encounter?
Right.
Is there, 3 pages in a Spider-Man comic where he got involved in this? Like, this is so weird. Anyway,
Super
weird.
Super weird.
By the way, great voice.
Oh, thank you.
Bring forth the prisoners. They are but children. How delightful. Your mentor, Charles Xavier, is already in my service. Indeed, it was he who led you to me.
Professor Psi Powers summoned new mutants. He lured friends and self into a trap. Self-confused. Friends underwent physio-psychological metamorphosis. Why not self? Insufficient data. Observation and analysis continuing.
Xavier informs me you are called mutants, feared and hated by those who lack your special abilities. That makes you most precious to me. I am Kulan Gath, soon to be master of the world. You and your fellow mutants will provide the nucleus of my hell horde. You are outcasts, afraid and resentful, no matter how hard you try to hide or deny it. See how easy I take those negative emotions and combine their darkling potential with my own powers to reshape you, body and soul.
By the Maker. Forgive Self, Rain. You were Self's first friend. Self owes life to you. Self should have acted sooner, but there is still time to save others. The features of a handsome young man vanish, replaced by Warlock's true appearance. Though he is as much a mutant as his teammates, he is not human, nor even of Earth, a metamorph, able to transform his body into anything. He is a techno-organic being, composed of living electronic circuitry. Unfortunately, fast as he is, Kulan Gath is faster. Danny, Roberto, Sam, they change as well. Self dares not fight. They could do Self grievous harm. Worse, Self might do the same to them. Better to flee. As Self always does, to Self's eternal shame.
That creature's terror and loneliness is at least as great as its fellows. I should have enslaved him with ease. It was unaffected by my master's spell as well. Xavier, come forth.
I, Caliban, hear, dread Lord, and obey.
That's just so gross. And the slouchiness too is the worst. But there's like no spine, there's no, it's so weird. But again, so continuing with this, they're just running with it, where it's like, we're just going to introduce characters and, without any lead up or any lead in or anything really. And so we have been introduced to most of these New Mutants in the X-Men comics. So we would be familiar with maybe the core members of this team up to Cannonball and Sunspot, and Danny Moonstar and Rain, Wolfsbane. And then we get this new guy.
Peter Parker,
exactly. Who keeps referring to his self. It'd be nice if there was as introduced in New Mutants 10 or something like that.
Sure. And think about how many other Chris Claremont comics explain who everyone is every time. It's like they threw out the rule, the Jim Shooter rule. Like they're expecting that everyone knows exactly what's going on in this issue without any explanation. Even though every other time they give you so much explanation, even when you've read them before.
Exactly.
It's a weird reversal this time.
Explain that creature's immunity.
Cannot possibly. It is Warlock's alien nature. He is not of this world.
Was that him throwing up?
It was in the other mouth. He threw up from one mouth to the other mouth.
Find it at once.
No! Caliban wishes to obey, but I do not.
You will, little man.
Oh, your will.
Your will, little man, is as formidable as any I've encountered. In your world, your proper time, your true identity, you might prove my equal. But my magics have reshaped reality in my image. Everything, everyone in it is my creation. I Caliban, obey.
But hidden in nearby shadows.
Careless as ever, Kulan Gath. Your enchantment has no effect on a sorceress who was old, her power feared when this world was in its infancy.
Uptown, girl. Uptown,
where people are snapping their fingers in alleyways. A pair of pretties for the wizard.
Won't be so pretty once she's done with him. Kind of a shame, don't you think, buckos?
We mean no harm. We have done no wrong to you or your master.
Let us go.
We fought, Red. You lost. Tough break.
Not so hasty, dolt. Not all Morlocks are as hard-hearted as Callisto. So you be nice to us, sweetums.
And maybe we'll be nice to you.
Such a noble offer from such noble men. It seems almost a shame to steal your lives and souls.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I love the coloring choice on that, though.
It does look good.
Yeah.
The street! It's come alive!
I can't move!
My doing. But fear not, I shan't keep you prisoner long. We meet again, dear children. But I'll wager, thanks to that idiot Kuangath's spell, neither of you remembers Princess Amara, Lady Rachel. I am Celine. So again, if you weren't really following the latest arc, or at least the last issues, we meet again. So the last issue was all these three characters, Princess Amara and Rachel and Celine. So coming through this cold, you would be lost.
Oh, I think even coming to it hot.
Coming to it hot, you would be lost.
Hoboken. Just across the Hudson River. How do you feel, Callisto?
Furious. I hate owing my life to you. But there aren't words to describe my feelings for Kulan Gath. Nobody turns me and mine into toys.
What then do we do about it?
Door's locked. Feds must mean to keep us on ice till they're ready to interrogate us. Storm, Callisto, a cycle, but who?
Celine! Her clothes, they are reminiscent of the garb worn by the Hellfire Club's Black Queen.
I am using Rachel's telepathic abilities to protect my thoughts.
Which, if you have harmed her...
I have not. Let there be peace between us, Wind Rider. I need your aid. The ensorcelment? That's the first. Strike one for ensorcelment.
You
of
got
your
it.
city. Thank you. Is the work of an old and deadly foe. If he is not stopped in soon, his spell will become irreversible and will spread from this source to engulf the entire planet. Will you allow that? Or was I wrong in my estimation of your courage and sense of duty? Her spell made me a slave, sweetheart. Once I cross his barrier, I'll revert. I won't be much use to you then. I can remedy that somewhat by using my own sorcery to protect you from his influence. And while you will forget this modern world and your roles in it, you'll remember the essence of our conversation. That Kulan Gath is an evil which must be destroyed. And that Celine is ever your friend and ally.
And that Kulan Gath is an idiot, as she called him earlier.
Kulan Gath.
I like the version of her as like this sort of distorted image. You know, it's like it's not smoky. It's like almost there, but not quite there. You know,
Sure.
it's not a hologram. It doesn't feel like the other versions of a projection. You know, of an astral form. This feels like something unique, and I like this version. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah. It's like the thing you catch in the corner of your eye.
Yeah, like she
Not
could
sure
fade
what it
away
is.
at any moment. I like that. But look at that scary giant alien eye creature. It obeys your commands.
What's going on there? Yeah.
It's only 7
Also,
feet tall.
If it hasn't happened yet, Kulan Gath, get that metal band going right now.
Oh yeah.
Great name. Great name. You believe her?
No,
Trust her?
never.
Quit showing off, Aurora. Why don't you use your elemental powers to fly us out of here?
They no longer exist, Callisto.
How? What happened?
That is not important.
It is to me.
I did not know you cared.
You won my place in fair combat as leader of the Morlocks. I wanted to take it back the same way. That means nothing if you're just a human. More importantly, we take care of our own. If someone did this to you and you don't take his life, I will.
Hey, you two, hold it. Stay where you are.
Run!
Run!
Yeah.
Security alert! Get after him! Don't let those women escape. Which way, Callisto?
Down the ladder. Once we're in the sewers, they'll never catch us. Our Morlock tunnels extend to this side of the river. We'll use them to cross back into Manhattan.
Holy smokes, look what we get to do. Do-do-do-do-do.
Yep.
Meanwhile, enjoy, buddy, enjoy.
You want me to go for it?
Yeah, man. Be
All right.
Spidey. What a treat.
All right. This is crazy. Not only is my hometown turned into a giant-sized set from Conan the Barbarian, but it looks like everybody's favorite pastime is going to be collecting the scalp of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
And then look at those trans bots.
Transbots. They're not quite what you think they are. Transbots.
This might have been the first time I ever saw what like Megatron, how he was in toy form, like this rendering of him.
Right.
He looks so unfun to play with.
Yeah, he looks like a microscope set.
Yeah, it does not look that cool. And then the flying one, the one like flying down on the far right hand side, those legs do not look like Transformers at all.
At all.
Yeah. Anyway, that's pretty funny. That Megatron is terrible. Also available now, the leader, Astro Magnum.
That's what it says. Astro Magnum. Oh my goodness. Oops. All right. I'm moving as fast as I can, but I'm not shaking these guys. What gives? Maybe I'll better luck in a crowd. Gangway.
What the devils?
Ah, great. Nobody speaks English anymore. Well, the language sounds awfully familiar, though. I've heard it before, but whew. Oh, bless you, Spidey Sense, the latest in a hopefully never-ending series of timely warnings. I don't dare hit back too hard. These aren't real villains, just ordinary people, victims. Some of them might even be my friends. Hey, I know those ears anywhere. That's Cannonball. That's a good gag. I'm being chased by the New Mutants.
It's a good panel, too.
It is. Whom Spidey met in MTU Annual 6.
Yeah, Marvel Team Up.
Marvel Team Up.
That gaily... hold on, what is that next word?
Comparisoned?
Is that a word? Caparisoned?
I couldn't tell you.
That gaily caparisoned adventurer is putting up an admirable struggle, my lady, against considerable odds.
My darling Eros, I thought your credo was to make love, not war.
Every rule needs an exception, dear Janet. And the warrior's courage should earn him a better fate than a wizard's dungeon.
Eros, they have him. So much for my being a nice guy. I'm trying so hard not to hurt these kids. I'm getting clobbered. Now, when I need them most, my strength, my powers are deserting me.
This face is not JRJR's best version of Danny Moonstar.
No.
That is that's pretty serious stuff. It is as the master promised. Kulan Gath's magic, channeled through us, has brought his hated enemy low.
Kulan Gath? That's impossible. So what's happened to New York? This means what I think it does. I'm in big trouble.
Hold! The master's oracle, Xavier, speaks to me. Another foe is close by. There, by the fire.
She's just a girl. Leave her alone.
His shield marks him as a captain.
So, stand aside, lout. We're on the wizard's business. And if I refuse?
You and your companions defy our dread lord at your peril. Bring me their heads.
A brawl. The perfect end to a perfect evening, eh, sweetheart? Only if we win, Nightcrawler. For shame, Rogue, to have so little faith. When have we ever lost? Always the first time, sugar. Boom. I don't know who says that, but
you can pick. You had all like the voices of everyone that would know their names.
sure. Colossus and Sunder?
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
What was I going to say?
It feels like it's a good moment for there to be like a similar reveal to like in the bar. Was it called the Prancing Pony or whatever it was called in Lord of the Rings? You know, when they meet Aragorn.
Sure.
You know, like you kind of you go into this old pub or whatever, and there's the fire, and you know trouble kind of comes in, and it brings all the heroes to light, like they can come out of the shadows, and it could have been, you know, it could have been something like that. I think you're going for something along those lines. It's almost there.
Do you know when I saw, speaking of this face of Danny Moonstar in the top left here on this page, it's so masculine.
Yeah.
That when I first saw it, I was like, oh, a Thunderbird. And like, even with like, and then maybe, I mean, the look, the hair is similar, and as is like what would be a mask, but it's the eyes that are protruding energy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Definitely some Thunderbird feelings come out of that, whether it's intentional or not. It's probably unintentional.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, that is not a feminine looking face at all. I like Star Fox's little mustache.
It's true. He's a lover too.
Stop it. You're making me happy. Do. Nice. G.I. Joe. It's awesome.
The full-length animated feature, which we all know what happens in that one.
What?
Don't you know?
I do, but I don't think you do.
Turns out Cobra Commander is Flint's father.
Yeah, Cobra Commander is he's not in this one.
Serpentor is Serpentor one?
No, this is, even though it's 1985 at this point, it would have just been the full-length animated feature would have just been the 1983 5-episode thing, like with the mass device.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just a 5-episode one. And then, even though it like probably just took 2 years to get to VHS, you know?
Right. Gung-Ho, what do you mean by saying we'll lick Cobra for sure? I mean...
Well...
He's gung-ho about lots of things.
And, oh my god, listen to this, though. Not even if our tape is so affordably priced at $39.95 that every kid can own a copy.
That is exorbitant even now.
$39.95. Oh my god, for 5 episodes. And it doesn't mean those snakes are whipped. Yeah, you whip some snake.
Oh my goodness.
Brutal. As is quite common under such circumstances, things quickly get out of hand. There's like a werewolf there too, huh?
It's rain, isn't it?
It probably is, but it just looks like a dude in a werewolf.
Whoa, werewolf by night's in here?
It's a dude in a werewolf mask.
It's just a dude in a werewolf mask.
It's like the cantina in Star Wars. Whoops, pardon me. I changed the view there. Forgive. Meanwhile, there it is. Our moment of truth.
Scared.
Very.
Makes 2 of us. You okay? You don't look so good.
It is the wound you gave me, but I can manage. It is a shame fate cast us as rivals, Callisto.
Breaks my heart, Blue Eyes. Shall we?
Emerging a step later from the barrier are a hard-bitten mercenary warrior in a bikini and a sorceress princess of a house that was old before the dawn of history in a bikini, restored to perfect health by Celine's enchantment. Regrettably,
in the name of Kulan Gath, slay them!
At roughly the same moment back at the tavern, you rebel scum, you are doomed.
The lad may have a point, my friend. We're certainly outnumbered.
My tribe always has been Nightcrawler, yet we've never been beaten. So long as we live, we have hope. Cap.
However, all but forgotten in the melee, the scullery girl who was its cause, reveals her true self. The Soul Sword is the ultimate expression of Ilyana Rasputin's Rasputin's power as a sorceress. No magical entity or spell can withstand it. As her ensorcelled brother Peter discovers.
Ensorcelled.
The touch of her eldritch blade frees him from Kulan Gath's slaver spell.
It's a good thing that he's, was made of organic steel, or I feel like he'd be cut in half.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But the reaction of his comrades is no less swift and devastating, as Sunspot shatters the floor beneath her. Ordinarily, Ilyana would save herself by teleporting to Limbo, but that's her mutant power, and, thanks to Kulan Gath's master spell, she's forgotten she possesses it. Suddenly, the room itself, walls, floors, ceilings, furniture, wainscoting, electrical outlets, come alive to entomb the warriors threatening Ilyana and the battling heroes.
Unhand her.
Our comrades, slain to a man. Only Sunder's strength shattered our prisons and saved us. We have the man spider. That's what Kulan Gath wanted most. The others can wait.
They're gone. Vanished. Fled. Yea, for us, we win.
I owe you more than I can even repay, little snowflake. My life, my very soul.
Pyotr Nikolaevich, what else was a sister to do?
You came to our aid. And why? She struck with a merciless brutality that matched her foes. I am Celine. These are my children, Amara and Rachel. And I was far gentler than they would have been with you, dear Captain, in similar circumstances. At least their end was quick and relatively painless. Your agonies at Kulan Gath's hands would defy description. I saved you from that. In return, I require your aid against the foul specter who has seized your city.
Ah, Celine. Weren't you always saying that overconfidence would prove the death of me? Mistress. What?
Did he just put her in his mouth?
Yeah, he ate her. in some kind of clay form. I don't know. It looks like a something or other.
What an unexpected pleasure to meet once more so hated a foe from the old days, and remove her with such consummate ease. Your pathetic rebellion will perish with her. But I can and will be merciful to those called mutants. Abandon your so-called comrades who would sooner stab you in the back than accept you into their hearts and homes. I offer the wealth of ages, power, glory, all the pleasures you can imagine. In return for your loyal service, decide quickly, my friends. I shall not ask again. Sorry we're late. Celine, what's our next move?
Minutes later, Ishtar's girdle. Dread One, the rebels, they're...
Gone? Where?
I, Caliban, do not know. I Caliban, seek, but cannot find.
I, Caliban, have soiled myself.
In 3 places.
What a pity. Could it be, dear Kulan, there are limitations to your abilities, that you are perhaps not quite so omnipotent as you'd like to think? You would do well, Slattern, to hold your tongue, lest I carve it out.
Isn't she in his mouth?
What's that?
Isn't she in his mouth?
Yeah. She was. Yeah.
I mean, I know it's just figurative, but
I mean, sure. Yeah.
True, my master spell requires much power and concentration, but these mutants have proven uncommonly susceptible to my will, I shall mold them into the most fearsome warriors any world has ever seen. Already, with the Morlocks and Xavier's novice students, you've seen the first fruits of my genius. Search the city, my proud butchers, from its topmost tower to its darkest Morlock cavern. I want the rebels in chains or in their graves by sunrise.
You're positive we're safe, Callisto?
No, we're safe, Fuzzy, where a wizard's concerned. But I figure this hole's as good as we'll ever get. The tunnels are all warded against the Seeker Xavier's power. And this is only I know about.
It's still her talking about Aurora.
Oh, you're right. There it is. Sorry.
Aurora, I'm worried about the girls. Celine touched their souls. She's a part of them, as they are of her. Kulan Gath could use that bond against us.
Or Celine herself could. The risk must be taken, Callisto. We need their powers. If it comes to a choice, Amara, which side?
We have no choice, Rachel. Not really. Not anymore. First, last, always. We serve Celine.
The wizard's guard is drawn from your tribe, Callisto, and yours, Aurora. He called them mutants.
It is said we are touched, or cursed, at birth with magic. For that crime, mutants are branded outcasts. Even a leper is more welcome than we. Bitterness and rage at such treatment exists in all our hearts, no matter how noble or innocent. Small wonder Kulan Gath finds it so easy to twist us to his foul shaping.
Celine is demon sorceress and mutant both.
As am I, good captain. Knowing that, would you defend me as you did before?
Among my people, youngster, for whom I am named, a person is judged by deeds. Everyone is created equal, free in body and spirit, same right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But I warn you, Celine and Kulan Gath are two of a kind.
Oh, thank God.
We don't trust her either, Cap.
But we need her. As, I suspect, she now does us. The paramount threat, however, is Kulan Gath. Whatever our suspicions of Celine, we know what he will do. Enslave the world, Captain, including your proud America. Once he is beaten, then we can worry about her.
Aurora, she may be dead already, or worse. We've lost our strongest weapon before the battle's even begun.
That is what Kulan Gath no doubt believes. So we shall turn that belief to our advantage. Confront raw power with stealth and trickery. Confound his sorcery with our wits. For all his boasting, Nightcrawler, he is no god, merely a man. We may fail, but we must try.
My entire life has been a crusade against evil, against those who would enslave their fellow man. There's no doubt in my mind Aurora was right. Some of us are mutants, others aren't. That isn't important. If who we are as people, if what we believe in, is to mean anything, we have to make this stand. My friends, in the name of those Kulan Gath has slain and may yet slay, and the dreams he's trampled into nightmares, let the word go forth. Avengers, assemble.
Next, Raiders of the Lost Temple. So this issue is more pages than usual. It is a 25-page story. Usually things go, anywhere between 17 and 20 or then 22.
Sure.
But a 25-page story is a lot of story. There were so much reading in this one.
Holy.
Unbelievable.
Holy.
There is very little plot and just so much reading. Yeah, and there's that awesome ad for the Marvel RPG game, which I have. I picked that one up actually when I was in England as a kid. We went there on a trip. I think we were in Bath when I picked it up. I found out like a game store, comic store,
Yeah.
and bought that because I just really wanted to see what was inside. And I had spending money for like on the trip, you know.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I colored and all the. I marker colored it. I did all sorts of fun things. But anyway, yeah, that was a real a Claremont verbose dialogue galore, for sure. David did some good math here. He's like that $39.95 for the G.I. Joe cassette. That's $102 today.
The affordable low price of $102.
Yeah, and so of course it's streaming full time on YouTube on like a Hasbro's YouTube channel. They play all the G.I. Joe episodes are constantly streaming. So
That's
it's
awesome.
yeah, the cardboard cutouts in that game, and there were some black and white line art in some of the manuals, and I took my marker set to them and just colored them all in, enjoying playing with that and all the cardboard cutout pieces. I think I still have them all. Yeah, it was a city map. Oh yeah, I should crack that open and take a look at it. This was such a strange issue, but I really do think it has potential.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to read the next part, just because it's so off the wall that I want to see where it ends.
Me too. I just want it to be a smoother experience.
Yeah,
it really does feel like this was a whole bunch of stuff compressed into one issue.
Sure. And I mean, I have a soft spot for sure for Swashbuckler Nightcrawler too. So it's always fun to see him.
Definitely, and I like the costumes. Do feel like we were saying before, like they're pretty uninspired. Mm-hmm. They're all kind of defaulty. Nothing that I really want to see a Marvel Legends of specifically, if that was an option.
Right. Nothing's piquing your. I need this wave. I need Barbarian Captain America.
Right.
Did
now go back to that Valerie Cooper intro.
Yeah.
Like that did not add anything to the experience really. Like I think I would have preferred it from a character kind of waking up in that world.
Right.
And them going through, I don't know, 6 pages of discovery and like figuring out and like getting by the skin of their teeth, and then kind of coming to some conclusions, talking to the right people, and we learn as they learn what this world is, you know.
I mean, it feels like we're dumber having read that intro.
I will tell you though, emotionally, it made me not care about the world.
Sure.
And I might have cared about it if you're going to give me no information going in, maybe then make them the no information part of the charm.
Right.
As opposed to like, I'm going to give you all this information and then still put you in this weird world that comes out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. I do think this story does have potential. I think the execution is just not my favorite for sure. But man, oh man. And maybe if this was like a 6-issue limited series or a 4-issue like graphic novel, and again, maybe there was some conversations about
Elseworlds kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, or just like the whatever framing device you want to use. It could have been again an elevated piece if there had been a better costume designer, maybe better like set designer in some of these pieces. But there you go. Monthly comics, fly by the seat of your pants. You try, see what works. Doesn't work, okay, move on to the next one. And we're going to get to see a neat one next issue. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this resolves, you know?
Yeah.
David says, do we need to know that the swords used to be guns and that cars used to be, a shorter version of the debrief scene could have been used as the intro to the second part as a catch-up. Yeah, somewhere in there. I mean, there are so many things they could have done differently to make it better. That's definitely one of them that could have worked. Ileana was still limited to her sisterly support here. Agreed about the execution of the story. Yeah, thanks. David says, but telling me the cops are guards and the guns are swords doesn't help me accept it. It gets my eyes rolling before the fun begins. Yeah, I checked out. I agree with you completely. That was a challenging one.
Up is down. Down is up.
Yeah, I'm putting this one back in the back in its plastic sleeve. Like it's going back in and not coming out probably.
There you go.
Until we do the anniversary episodes where we're rereading
the anniversary episodes.
Maybe one day we'll have like a Patreon, and there'll be like a Patreon. If you reach a certain goal, we'll like reread the issue of the patron's choice. They're like, we gotta hear 190 again.
So Jason in the chat said at the beginning that Kulon Gath is a Conan the Barbarian villain.
And then there was that fun
is
joke.
he?
Well, Jason.
Was it meant as a joke or?
No, I mean Jason's not wrong. This is a character that exists. He's a good source of information all the time.
I was going nuts out here all second.
Sorry, man. But I really, just to add to that, I really love that Spidey made that comment about it feels like he's on Conan the Barbarian, or in the Conan the Barbarian movie, I guess. That was kind of a fun way to connect it for the reader, but that's always a weird thing in comics when the characters in the comics are in a world where there are the characters in the comics in movies. So Peter Parker, lives in a world where there are Conan the Barbarian movies, but yet the Conan the Barbarian adventures are in Marvel continuity. It's a fun one. I mean, we're just having a laugh, right? Like, I don't think we should be so worried about how continuities actually weave together. It's just, it's all playful. But yeah, there you go. He was introduced in Conan Comics, right? And Selene is also from the Victorian Age. Did you guys do the Asgardian Wars crossover already? New Mutants, Uncanny X-Men, much better story. No, we have not done that one yet. We're not that far into the continuity yet, but we will be getting there shortly. I'm very much looking forward to that. We're starting the Asgardian Wars with X-Men Alpha Flight crossover, which is coming up in a couple weeks. But we will get to the New Mutants and X-Men as they deal with Loki and other Asgardian issues. So that'll be fun to do.
Totally.
Big time, especially seeing that early Arthur Adams art, which I'm such a huge fan of, as are many others. No surprise there. I really do miss Wolverine, man. I want Wolverine in my
It's
X-Men.
been a while, right? It
has been way too long.
4 or 5 issues.
Yeah, he's been on that journey, and it's with Kitty Pryde, and it's hurting. Like, he adds so much to the story.
And so
he'd be great in this world too.
Oh, right, exactly, yeah.
Like, he's made for it. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. What else do you want to talk about?
Oh, geez.
Upcoming appearance, maybe?
So we'll be at Toronto Comic-Con. If you happen to be in the area or come to the area, March 15th to 17th at the Metro Toronto Convention Center. We'll be at Comic-Con all 3 days, the Friday to the Sunday. That's the next thing we're doing, right? That's the next thing we got coming up.
Yeah, that's the next one I know about so far.
Yeah. Sometimes you never know. Would work. I
mean, stuff happens. And then in April, what's the event you're doing?
So I'm going to be at something called Fan Fest, which is at the Halton Hills Public Library, just west of Toronto, public library system, just west of Toronto. So I'll be at that. And then we've got Deep River, Ontario. Deep River, Ontario, come up in June, Eastern Ontario. So we are making our way around the province.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one.
Kind of exciting. And hopefully a few more scattered in between. We're on wait lists for a few shows. We are reaching out to hear about others. So, yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. That should be fun. David adds, it's weird to me, superhero universes that have the same movies as we do, Goodfellas, Fargo, etc. The people in the Marvel universe should all be should all be asking why no one has superpowers in these things. Yeah. It is weird. It's I think a complaint that a lot of people have about whether it's movies that also have people from our media in them. Like when people in a movie or like listen to the same music we're listening to, or they watch other shows that we watch. It is kind of weird. Yeah, it's a fun complaint for sure. I feel that one big time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that Toronto Comic-Con.
Yeah,
I wonder what else we're gonna get up to and how that experience is gonna go. But it should be nice to have that hangout as well in the city. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. Have you heard yet if it's in the north or south building?
I have not heard anything.
Neither have I.
So
But there you go. And our beloved Maple Leafs, they lost.
they lost.
Yeah, and so be it. They were due. It's all good.
You know,
So no, it was. I don't mind at all. I was tired just watching them.
that's okay.
Great work, Jason and David. Cool live stream. David being in the chat, he's awesome. And great work, Jason, David in the live stream. You know, they're awesome guys. So they're good to add things. I'm grateful they're here too. Kulan Gath is the go-to guy for writers who want sword and sorcery elements in modern superhero comics. You're welcome. I am Chris now. No, I think he was thanking the Jason.
True that if I kill you, I become you.
Thanking, yes, anyway. And that brings us to the end of another episode of Previously in X-Men. Thank you to my good buddy, writer of 7 Comics and Peregrines, Chris Sanagan. And you can find out more about our comics and upcoming appearances at group7comics.ca. Follow us on social media at group7comics. Please click like and subscribe and tell us your take on X-Men comics in the comments below.
If you want you get friends like X-Men, tell them to subscribe, get on board with this. We're getting up there, 286. Keep inching up subscribers.
Yeah,
every
David,
week, like one more.
David says it was a fun show of a weird comic, and David wants to stay Xy, which is fine. I just want to say thanks, bub, and good night.
There you go. Night all.
Thank you.